Hello there, fellow music enjoyers. Today we're going to check out Brian Eno's Another Green Road, which is apparently his third solo studio album, and I don't really know much about him, so I guess I'm going to have to find out off camera and also in the comments. If you guys have any fun facts or cool stories to tell about him, I'm all ears. I'm going to read some of your comments, and if you also have any other recommendations by him or some other artist, I would also love to take those. So I have the Wikipedia page up here to kind of have the idea of what I'm getting into. I did hear like the first three songs, just to check out if I was going to do this reaction or not. Maybe it was something that I wouldn't like, and ended up that I did quite enjoy the first three songs, and I'm willing to do the reaction, so that's why you're here. So it's produced by Brian Eno and Rhett Davis, I think that's how you pronounce it. It features contributions from a small core of musicians, including Robert Fripp from Kingcrimson, Phil Collins on the drums from Genesis, Percy Jones, I don't know who that is, Rod Melvin, John Cale, and so many other people. And I'm very excited for that because Robert Fripp and Phil Collins are probably the headline names for me right here. And maybe the other ones, I've heard of John Cale, but I haven't really listened to any of his songs. Maybe it's worth it? Tell me in the comments. But although the album received widespread critical acclaim, its only contemporary chart success was in New Zealand. So that's pretty interesting. It's not really a successful pop album or anything like that. I've also heard that he did many pop albums and transitioning to kind of like a experimental phase as well. So I'd like to see both worlds. And yeah, let's go into our first song, which is Sky Soul. The full album is 40 minutes long. Let's press play in 3, 2, 1, play. I have this little notebook by the way, so I can write down what I'm thinking instead of pausing. It reminds me of the 80s a little bit. I think that's a synthesizer. I think those are vocals. Sounds like a fly flying by. pretty cool thing to do. To kind of spice it up, you know. Those sound like violins. And just like that, it fades out. Pretty solid opener, I'd say. But yeah, guess there's nothing else. Just 5 seconds of silence, and I'm going to pause right here. Okay, so I wrote down some of the quick notes right here. The name of the song is Sky Soul. I'm not really sure why, but the lyrics appear to be talking about the meaninglessness of lyrics. That's why I have genius right here. And all of the clouds turn towards all the words float in sequence. Nobody knows what they mean. Everyone just ignores them. So it's kind of like the whole paradox of making some lyrics so people understand, but most people actually don't even care about the lyrics. You could just repeat one word throughout the entire song and make it sound kind of weird, and people would think those are lyrics, and it's just literally just one word, you know. And I guess it's kind of like a manifesto, like Richard Poynter notes right here on Genius. Since everyone just ignores the words anyway, says Zeno, it makes no difference if they're meaningless. And that's why also on top of the lyrics right there, there's also this right here. Mau Mau starter ching ching dada. Daughter daughter dumpling data. Pack and pick the ping pong starter. Carter Carter go get Carter. Perigee. Open stick and Delphic doldrums. Open click and quantum data. And to be honest, those are better lyrics than most things nowadays. Somehow. And it doesn't even make sense, but you can, you know, insert some sense into it if you really think about it. But yeah, that was Sky Soul. Eno was apparently inspired by a number of sources, the phonetic poetry of Ugo Boll, I think that's how, and Kurt Schwitters, as well as Hilaire Belloc's Tarantula. Wrote the poem Izimbra, which was set to music by Eno and David Byrne, and recorded on the album Fear of Music by Talking Heads. Fear of Music, I'm pretty sure I already listened to it, but I have listened to it once, so I can't really remember anything about it, or any of the sounds really, but I did listen to that one. So yeah, one thing that I noticed was the funky bass. The bass was pretty much the driving force of the entire song, and it was pretty good. I think it was Percy Jones who was on the bass. He did a really good job. And I feel like it's also kind of improvised. It's not really, you know, strictly composed or anything. It's more like I guess it's Phil Collins on the drums. He probably played it and they jammed together and it didn't turn to a song. So it's as simple as that. There's also an industrial-like sound to it, which reminds me of the 90s German industrial complex. um, and it's very what do you call it? Motorcycle, electric, aggressive sound to it, as well as kind of a softer 80s like rock in the background with the crazy synths just rolling around, panning left and right and everything. And yeah, it's pretty much it. It's an ambient song that would probably fit pretty well in like a movie. Not really sure if it made it into a movie. It says original motion picture soundtrack. Not really sure what movie that would be. But if it is a movie, then I would like to check it out as well. Tell me in the comments. If it's a movie, I'd like to watch the movie. Maybe I'll even do a reaction. So the next song is, let's see, Over Fire Island. 3, 2, 1, play. Back with the bass. It's apparently an instrumental. That screaming thing just passing by. Those drums, pretty heavy. So I guess that was Over Fire Island. It was an instrumental, there was no lyrics, and apparently there's no real meaning to it, because I did see it on Genius. Let's see if I can get it. It apparently is an instrumental led with a groovy bass line by Perry Jones. It's not Percy Jones, by the way, it's Perry Jones apparently. And pronounced drumming by Phil Collins, complemented by Eno's keyboards. Those keyboards are pretty cool, by the way. They kind of sound like they're dying. Honestly, it sounds like the keyboards are having a voice crack or something. Over Fire Island stands as a simple yet mysterious prelude to the surreal adventure of the rest of the album. Fire Island is an island located in New York State of America, known for being an extremely thin piece of land across the Atlantic Ocean. Maybe he traveled there and got inspired to do that song, not really sure. Over Fire Island. I guess there's no real meaning to it. Maybe it's supposed to be scenery. It's not really supposed to be about something meaningful. It's just the image of the tiny little island. Maybe it's about isolation as well, because it's such a tiny island. But yeah, Over Fire Island was a very short song. Not really that much of a composition or anything. It was just a little bit of a groove with the bass and the drums. I like the drum variety as well. Like, it's not just beep bop beep bop. It's also beep bop boom. All of a sudden, the drum variety is pretty cool. And it's also kind of experimental. It tries a lot of different things and makes sure to keep the song kind of flowing instead of just repeating the same pattern over and over again. It tries to break that patterns as well. I think that's pretty solid. And that's pretty much all I have to say. And that song is Saint Elmo's Fire. That sounds like a very specific event.
Brown eyes and I were tired. We had walked and we had scrambled through the moors and through the briars, through the endless blue meanders in the blue August noon, in the cool August noon, over the nights and through the fires.
Pretty solid so far.
Down the wires, through the towns and on the highways, through the storms in all their thundering, in the blue August noon, in the cool August noon. Then we rested in a desert where the bones were white as teeth, son, and we saw St. Elmo's fire splitting irons in the ether.
crazy solo. Pretty solid track. Guessing it's fading out now. Yeah, that was pretty good, honestly. So we have the lyrics right here. Let me pause the song. I guess just 10 seconds of silence right here. Yep. Okay. So Saint Elmo's Fire. That's an interesting title. So apparently Eno has commented on an interview on St. Elmo's Fire. I had this idea, said to Fripp, do you know what a Windshurst machine is? Well, even rhymed. It's a device for generating very high voltages which then leap between the two poles, and it has a certain erratic contour. And I said, you have to imagine a guitar line that has that, very fast and unpredictable. And he played a part which to me was very Windshurst indeed. So apparently he's talking about the solo, which was a really cool solo, by Robert Fripp from Kingcrimson. And it apparently is supposed to resemble a crackling beam of electricity, which I think he succeeded. It does sound kind of like distorted and out of control of a solo. It doesn't really go in like a scale. It kind of does, but it also breaks sometimes and tries to maintain that unpredictability throughout the song. So I think that was pretty cool. The lyrics themselves are very interesting. It sounds very rural, very country-like. And it even put down here that it sounds kind of folky-ish, something you'd hear around a fireplace or something. And it's also a little bit medieval. I can hear the song working well with like flutes and some other older instruments as well. So yeah, I'm not really sure what he's talking about. I guess it's about you know, brown eyes and I were tired. We had walked, we had scrambled through the moors and through the briars, through the endless blue meanders. That was a really cool verse right there. In the blue August moon, in the cool August moon. So it's pretty much like a trip. Them going through the desert, the mountains, the everything. Being tired, where the bones were white as teeth, sir. And we saw St. Elmo's Fire spitting ions in the ether. So apparently St. Elmo's Fire is a natural phenomenon caused by particles ripping apart in the atmosphere. That is pretty cool. I do want to see the video right here that is linked on YouTube to see what he's talking about, the St. Elmo's Fire. And I'll do that later when I finish this reaction. So yeah, let's go to the next song, which is In Dark Trees. Sounds like we were in a cave or something. The song is an instrumental. Pretty creepy. I wonder what that sound is. It sounds like something falling on the ground. Nice guitar. relaxing, pretty calming. But there's a little bit of a tension as well. It's gonna hit us with a fade out. Okay. So far, there was no transitions in the album, which is unfortunate, but it's also okay. No real endings as well. It's just a little bit of a jam, and then it ends. So yeah, have no lyrics. This is an instrumental, as you could probably hear, and there is no real, context to the song that I could find. But it does sound really good, and I actually really enjoyed that. I wish it was longer, honestly. That was so good that I wish it was just like 7 minutes of just that, and a little bit of a weird background sound, like a motorcycle just going through, or a bird singing, something like that, you know? I really like the reverb. It sounded like we were in a cave, and there are sounds on the wall, and it's reverberating through the atmosphere, through the ambient. It's very environmental. You can kind of like close your eyes and feel the space of the sound. Very hypnotic, especially with those drums, I guess. I'm not really sure what those were. Maybe it was like a ball just being thrown against a wall and making that sound. And it also sounds like a soundtrack for a movie, you know. It's very desolate, it's very sorrowful. It's a kind of sad song, honestly. Sounds like a loss to me, anyways. And it's also very calming. It's very, very lush, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that's all I have really to say about that song. In Dark Trees, pretty solid one. Really like the guitars, really like the bass, really like the drums, really like everything pretty much. So let's go to the next song, which is The Big Ship. The Big Ship. The Big Ship. Already opens up like we died, we are in a cemetery or something. It's also instrumental. It has 20 million views though. It's a distorted guitar. The drums sound like a beating heart. I think that's pretty interesting. I think there's a fade out as well. Yeah, the big ship. Pretty solid. Not really my favorite. I think so far my favorite was probably In the Trees, or maybe Over Fire Island. No, St. Elmo's Fire. So yeah, that was the big ship. It's interesting because it has 20 times more views than the other ones. I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's in like a movie. Maybe it's iconic or something. I don't know. But yeah, the big ship felt kind of grandiose. I feel like it would be perfect for an album finale. So I'm not really sure how it's going to end this album. But if I had to rearrange, that would probably be a really good closer for an album. And it has a sense of finality, like we're getting, I don't know, held on a casket, ready to go to the grave or something. I feel like it's perfect for a scene like that. And that's the big ship. There are no lyrics. There's no explanation on genius or anything. I'm not really sure what it's about. But I guess you guys are going to tell me in the comments. So let's go to the next one, which is I'll Come Running.
Somewhere in the corner, I'm gonna waste the rest of my days
Sounds like a beach song.
just watching patiently from the window, just waiting seasons change someday. Oh, oh, my dreams will call you through that garden gate. I want to be the wandering sailor, with silhouettes by the light of the moon.
Pretty solid verses. He's a really good writer.
Playing solitaire by the window, just waiting seasons change. Aha, you'll see, one day these dreams will pull you through my door, and I'll come running to tie your shoe. I'll come running to tie your shoe.
Sounds kind of Beatles-esque as well.
I'll come running to tie your shoe. I'll come running to tie your shoe.
Tie your shoe.
I'll come running to tie your shoe. I'll come running to tie your shoe. I'll come running to tie your shoe. I'll come running to tie your
hits me with a fade out. To tie your shoes. That was a pretty good, solid song. That was like a perfect single to put out, you know. But yeah, that was I'll Come Running to Tie Your Shoes. Let's pause the song. But yeah, I was looking at Genius right here. Apparently it's kind of like a carefree, beachy song, summer song where the protagonist, the speaker, the narrator is kind of like, just chilling, and all he wants to do is just tie somebody else's shoe, which apparently is supposed to be in a meaningful, loving way, which I think is very nice, very cute. And it's a simple song. It's not really that complex, I guess. There's not really anything crazy about it. It's about the speaker's dream of domesticity. In the song, they're talking about their daydreams about a partner who will grow old with them. So it's a very nice little song. Reminded me a little bit of Sgt. Pepper's by the Beatles. Not really sure if you guys can see that as well. But it's a pretty solid song. Not my favorite so far, but it's okay. Maybe it will grow with time. Who knows? And the next song is Another Green Road, which is the title of the album. We'll see how that goes. Another Green Road. Let's see what this is about. Apparently there's no song just yet. It's also instrumental. Hits me with another fade out. Okay. But yeah, that was just a little bit of a simple instrumental, Another Green Road. I wonder if this is going to transition into the side B. And I think I read somewhere that the side B is actually a lot more alien or isolated, kind of dark compared to the first side. Not really sure if that's true, but I guess we're gonna find out. Another Green Road is an instrumental, which honestly, the first notes kind of remind me of a circus theme or something like that. And it also blends in well with the rest of the album, at least the first side right here. It's very playful, it's very kind of cheerful, not really too much. There's a little bit of a lingering pain or lingering desolation, I guess you could say, of what we're going to find out inside B. And yeah, it's a simple instrumental. It's not really that complicated. It kind of like adds a transition for side B apparently. So yeah, let's go into the next one, which is Sombre Reptiles. Cool title. Another instrumental. wonder what that sound is. That kind of like a shaker sound. Yeah, hits me with another fade out. This one is a little bit longer though. Okay, it did transition. Okay, so this time it did transition, which is very interesting. I'm going to restart right here. But yeah, this song is an instrumental. There's no context to it. Maybe it means something, but I guess I'm gonna find out later. I really like the drum. The drum sounds and the shaker, whatever that is, I guess it's a shaker. Sounded kind of distorted and in the background. It's not really powerful or anything. It's supposed to be in the background, you know? And it works pretty well with the guitar. The guitar, it's like the driving force. It's not even the bass or anything. It's just the guitar, which is very mellow, very sad, very depressing guitar by I guess Robert Fripp, right? And I think it would work really well for a movie or for a video game even, you know? Um, just imagine the menu theme, or you enter like a, what do you call it? A party or something, and that starts playing. Perfect. It's pretty good background music. So, yeah. Let's go into the next one, which is Golden Hours. Okay. This one's a little bit longer, so I wonder if it's gonna have lyrics. Oh, never mind. I actually skipped one. I'm sorry. It's actually Little Fishes, not Golden Hours. Not yet. And this one had a transition, which I think was cool. This is Little Fishes. We have Weird Fishes by Radiohead. Now we have Little Fishes. I wonder what that is. Sounds like a keyboard, maybe. Or a mellotron? I don't know. Fades out. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of Undertale. It's a video game. It's pretty good. The music, it's kind of like that. Very minimalistic. Keyboards and synths everywhere. So now it's Golden Hours. So that was another instrumental. It was so short that I didn't even put any notes actually. That was just nice. Kind of minimalistic, spatial, something to transition into the next song, which is probably gonna have lyrics. And very nice. I feel like this album is probably perfect for you to listen in one go. Unfortunately, I'm not doing that here. And usually what people say is that the first time is putting your, what do you call it, feet in the water. And the second time is probably going to be the best time ever, because your brain's already adapted to what's gonna happen. So there's a little bit of a predictability. And also the fact that you will discover much more by listening repeatedly. So the first time is a little bit of a first impressions instead of a, I'm not gonna catch everything all at once, especially by pausing and stuff. So yeah, that song is my voice. That song is Golden Hours. I sound like the keyboards at this point. I'm dying. Need to drink some coffee. Although I'm pretty sure that actually ruins my voice. one has lyrics.
The passage of time is flicking dimly up on the screen. I can't see the lines I used to think I could read between. Perhaps my brains have turned to sand. Oh me, oh my, I think it's been an eternity. You'd be surprised at my degree of uncertainty. How can moments go so slow? Several times I've seen the evening slide away,
Pretty solid so far.
watching the signs taking over from the fading day. Perhaps my brains are old and scrambled.
It's a nice little solo. Sounds like a violin when Rip plays.
Several times I've seen the evening slide away, watching the signs taking over from the fading day, changing water into wine. Several times I've seen the evening slide away, watching the signs taking over from the fading day, putting grapes back on the vine.
I'm pretty sure that's an actual violin though. That was a really good song. It passed way faster. That was how good it was. That it felt like time was just slipping away, just like the lyrics are talking about, you know. Apparently it's about like an old man just looking at the passage of time and how things are, you know, pretty much losing meaning because things are in the past and not in the future anymore. You can't really look forward to anything. You can only look backwards to something. And I feel like that's very, very weird, huh? Imagine you enter that phase, you kind of like go, there's like a, what do you call it? A early life crisis, a middle life crisis, and an old life crisis, you know? So we're always in crisis pretty much. Really like the solo. The guitar solo by Fripp was insanely good. I feel like it was perfect because adding distortion, adding a lot of electricity, I guess, would probably ruin the solo, and making it a little bit jazzy was the perfect way to do it. I also found that the composition was quite simple. Not that it's bad, but that simplicity equals good. It's kind of like the Beatles. The Beatles aren't necessarily the most complex band with a bunch of tempos differences and switch ups and everything. It's simple, it's meant to be that way, and it's easy to digest as a normal person, as a somebody who consumes music instead of being a musician themselves. So that was really good. I also found some parallels between Alan Parsons' project. I don't know if you guys can also hear that, but there is a little bit of a late 70s pop feeling to it, which did remind me of Alan Parsons. And the vocalist, which I guess is Brian Eno, reminds me a little bit of Sid Barrett. Not really sure why. Maybe there's a connection somehow. Um, Psychedelic, kinda melancholic voice, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Golden Hours. One of my favorite songs so far. Really good contender. And the next one is Becalmed. Not Becalmed, it's Becalmed. It's together. So yeah, let's see that one. Alright. This one is an instrumental. He really liked instrumentals, didn't he? Sounds like wind and a piano. It sounds a little bit more standard. I feel like this motif has appeared before, but I'm not sure. I feel like I heard this melody from another artist. That was Becalmed. Instrumental, very nice, no transition, and yeah, I put right here that there may be a motif throughout the album. Not really sure. It's it sounds a little bit motivational. I don't know if you guys can catch that. It sounds like something you would hear in a movie or even in a yoga video or something. You know, just increase, just extend the song and it pretty much just becomes a yoga music video, you know. It comes with ease. It's very nice. It's very gentle. Doesn't really wake you up or anything. It's kind of those songs where you put in the morning and you feel good up after listening to it. Pretty good. Ambient like, so very rural, which means, you know, you kind of want to hear this when you're looking at the forest or even just the sky or something. Very nice. Very simple song. I think it was composed on a piano, which I think is very, very cool. And that song is called Zawinu slash Lava. 3 minutes long. Let's see what that's about. I was also reading the Wikipedia. I'll tell you guys later. This is another instrumental. Wow, the bass just came out of a sudden. It's pretty good. Like that the song is kind of unfolding between. What was that? And it sounds like echoes. It sounds like David Gilmour's guitar in Echoes. But yeah, that was Zawinu slash Lava. Let's see if I don't think there are lyrics. It's an instrumental. So yeah, let's pause this. There's like 10 seconds of silence in the song. Let's see if I can pause. Okay, I paused. But yeah, there's no real meaning, I guess. I don't have the context, but I really like the unfolding progression of it starts simply as a piano melody, and it starts unfolding with the drums and the bass and whatever the screaming guitar was. I think that's pretty cool. It isn't very, what do you call it, complex or complicated or anything. It's just simply, I think it was 4 notes, right? On the piano, And on top of that, there was everything else, which I think was perfect. It doesn't need to, switch and a lot of chords or anything like that. I also like the cave-like human origin that I wrote right here, which means it sounds like something you would hear back like 2 million years ago, You're inside a cave, not really that you would hear a piano or specifically those sounds, but it sounds ritualistic. It sounds primitive, I guess you could say. It sounds human in a weird way, which I think was pretty cool. I wonder what Zawi Nu means. I hope it's not a slur. But yeah, let's continue with the next one, which is Everything Merges with the Night. That sounds like a hit single title to me. But let's see. Acoustic guitar. I think that's the first time we heard it in this album.
Rosalie,
That bass though.
I've been waiting all evening. Possibly years, I don't know. Counting the passing hours, everything merges with the night. I stand on the beach,
Oh wow.
giving out descriptions, different for everyone I see. Since I just can't remember, longer than last September. Santiago, under the volcano, floats like a cushion on the sea. Yet I can never sleep here, everything ponders in the night.
This is nice. Oh wow.
Rosalie, we've been talking all summer,
I wonder who Rosal is.
picking the straw from our clothes. See how the breeze has softened, everything pauses in the night.
I'd say this sounds thematically consistent throughout the album. Like almost all of the songs are very coherent with each other. Hey, that was a transition, pretty sure. But yeah. Also, if you guys can hear my dog barking in the background, just ignore that. But yeah, that was Everything Merges with the Night. That was very interesting. We have some lyrics to analyze that even rhymed. I don't know who Rosalie is. Tell me in the comments. Apparently, there's no annotations on Genius, so I can't really know. Maybe it's his wife or something. I stand on the beach giving out descriptions for different for everyone I see, since I just can't remember longer than last December. So it's probably talking about memories, you know? You can really remember everything that you really see, especially longer than last December. Santiago under the volcano floats like a cushion on the sea, yet I can never sleep here. Everything ponders in the night. Um, Sounds like a vacation type of song. In the beach, and you have Rosalie by the side, and it's a really beautiful night, and everything just rhymes. And I feel like that's pretty much the meaning of the song. It's not really that deep. You can make it deep, I guess. It sounds kind of weird. That's what she said. So we have some annotations here. I really like the bass. The bass sounded bassy, you know, it sounded very huge and loud and everything. I thought that was really cool. The drums were very minimalistic. They didn't really, you know, just invade the entire song. I feel like that balance was really well done. It also it reminded me a little bit of the slow dive or shoegaze in general. If you just put a fuck ton of reverb and make it, you know, echo, I feel like this would be a really good shoegaze song. Very folky as well. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that song. It was a simple song. It was a nice song. One of those songs that you can hear in the morning or something. So the last one is Spirits Drifting. I wonder what that means. Maybe they're in cars or something. This is an instrumental. I think it's hitting us with a fade out. Guys, that's how you end an album. I would say that I prefer if the big ship was the closer instead of Spirits Drifting. But Drifting isn't a bad song. I just think I prefer the big ship being the one to end it all, you know. Sounds kind of depressing. But yeah, going to pause right here. That was Another Green World. That was pretty good, honestly. And the last song was I only put it one note, which was kind of sounding like 80s gothic rock. Maybe you guys can see that. This was in 1975, so it's pretty much early on compared to many other albums from the 80s. And maybe that's why it's so influential and iconic, this album. But yeah, um, I also have to talk about the Wikipedia, which I was reading a little bit. I find it funny that they put in the credits of the album some interesting credits, such as the castanet guitars, the Leslie piano, the snake guitar, the digital guitar, a bunch of interesting credits because they did such a good job experimenting with the instruments. And I feel like that's pretty cool. Uncertain piano, snake guitar, and everything else. But yeah, I really liked this album overall, and I'm going to do the calculations to find out what I rate this out of 10. So let's see you guys on the other side. Okay, so I ran the calculations and the rating was 7.6. Why? Because I did the average and that's pretty much it. The highest score of the songs was pretty much I really like Golden Hours. I gave that a 9. And also Saint Elmo's Fire. Those were the ones that got the 9 out of 10. I did not give any one of them a 10 out of 10, and maybe that will change with time. I will appreciate the album a little bit more, but so far it's a 7 out of 10, 7.6 out of 10, which is a really good grade rating, and mostly because almost all of the songs that I put here, I gave it an 8 out of 5, 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. Sometimes just one song that I gave a 7.5, which was Another Green World. I thought was kind of like a transition and not really a really great song. Plus, it would probably change the rating from 7.6 to like, I don't know, 7.8 or something. So it's not really that much different. And all in all, really liked this album, really like to react to it as well. It was a good album, and I'm looking forward to see more of Brian Eno. I don't know his real name, if that is like a pseudonym or something else. Its genre is art pop, ambient art rock, minimalist, ambient pop, and avant pop, which I really appreciate. From 1975. Next albums are Evening Star and Taking Tiger Mountain. So yeah, if you guys want me to react to more of Brian Eno or any other artists, tell me in the comments and I'll check them out, see if they're worth it, and I'll see you guys next time. If you guys enjoyed this, then please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, do whatever, and see you guys on the other side. Bye bye.